Okay, Tov. Today's daf is daf Samach Beis and Gitin. We went for a portion for Elizabeth and Ruma and Yosef Zviel and Chanichal. We're down about halfway down on the page we got to yesterday, the two dots. Machzikan Yedei Akum B'Shvius. You're allowed to strengthen the hand of Goyim B'Shvius. Otherwise, you can help them, support them, assist them. Machzikan, how can you do that? On Shmila Shemitah, it's you're working the land with them. You don't hoe the ground, dig the ground with Goyim on Shvius, even though they're doing it. You can't help them. You can't be Messiah them on Shvius. And also, you can't double the greeting to a Goy. In other words, as we'll see, it was sometimes common to say, good morning, or shalom, shalom, as we'll see. So you don't double that to a Goy. So how can you say that our Mishnah didn't talk about doubling the greeting? It talked about helping machzikin de'akum b'shvius. You're allowed to do that. We said they darke shalom, but how are you allowed to do that? You're not allowed to grind with them or do any work with them, dig on Shemitah, anything with that. So let's read them. Just to tell them, be strong, help, have a good day, be matzliach. You can't, even that's what we're talking about. Just tell them, okay, have a good day, good luck. He would tell the guy machzuku, he would tell them, again, be strong, good luck, have a good day, work hard. Shrata, similar thing, like we confirm your work, do a good job, good luck to you. It's a lesson of assisting them. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about actually doing any work on Shemitah with them. We're talking about giving them some support, some verbal support. The Brisa said, the Rav said, that's not in our Mishnah. That's what this Rav Dimi said. Rav Chisda maktim b'yavlu shamar. Rav Chisda would give them shalom aleichem, even though it's Hashem's name, as we said. It's shalom is Hashem's name. You would give them, but they, because of Darke Shalom, Rav Kana Omar, Shalom Olamar, peace be to you, sir, to sir, like in the third person. Rashi says that he meant to say by that, really not you, he meant to, who was he was talking about? He was talking about the Rabbanu Shalom. Shalom Olamar, or either for his master or to Rabbanu Shalom. And as he said, peace be to sir, to his honor, so to speak. So the guy thinks you're speaking to him, but you're really speaking about your master. Tosafos says, what do you mean? That it's Genevas Das, Gonev Das Abrius, because you're telling it to the guy as if, so he'll think that it's him that you're referring to, but it's really referring to somebody else. So it says, no, you don't have to say that. It's just that the chiddush is that ain't koflin. You don't double, as we'll see. It was common to give a double greeting to Chashava people or to your fellow Jew, but to Goyim Abikacham, just give one. Ain't koflin shalom. That's like you don't have to say that Lamar meant I had a kavanah for somebody else. He just said once and not twice. Shalom Shlomim. What does that mean? Is if you can actually strengthen them and say, good luck, have a good day, be matzliach. If you could say that, you can assist them with words. Of course, you could say, good morning, or how are you, or mashlamcha. What's the chiddush in that? If you're allowed to even give them extra support by encouragement, you can certainly say, give them shalom. The chiddush is, even on the day of their holiday. Remember, we learned at the beginning of Avodah Zarah, on the day of their holiday, you can't pay back a loan or whatever, because they'll go and they'll thank their idols for this good deed. So he's here to tell you that you could even give them shalom even on the day of their holiday. Person shouldn't go especially into the house of a goy on the day of his holiday and give him shalom, because he might thank God for that, his God for that. You find him in the street, in the market. No, you give it to him in a soft voice. You just murmur it with a heavy head. You bend down and just say, you don't give him a big, shalom aleichem. You just give him a quiet, how do you do? Rav Chisda, so that's to say that you can give them shalom, but even on their holiday, you can give them shalom if you run into them. Rav Chisda, they were sitting. It's a story, we had this before, that they were sitting in Geneva, who was a Talmud Chacham, passed by there, but he was very argumentative, and one of them didn't like him because of that. We should get up for him to bar Uriah because he's a Talmud Chacham. Uriah is like knows how to learn, like a Raisa teacher. He's a big Talmud Chacham. We should stand up. I should get up for a person who's always argumentative and he's always fighting. Rashi says who was the Abbezin, who's always asking him kashas and bothering him. He approached them while they were arguing. Rav Chisda, who were arguing whether they should stand up or not. He approached them. Peace be unto you, King. Peace be unto you, King. They said, how do you know that rabbis are called king? Yes, indeed, we're rabbis. We're Rav Huna and Rav Chisda. Why are we called king? The pasuk says, "Be through me, through the Torah, the kings will rule." In other words, those who learn Torah are like kings. It's through me, through the Torah, they will reign. Amulei, they said, how do you know? Okay, so then you told us we're kings, but why did you double the shalom? You said shalom aleichem, shalom aleichem malchi, shalom aleichem. I doubled the lashon, a double greeting. How do we know that we double the shalom when we speak to a king? Shneimar, pasuk we say in the Yitzchak on Matzah Shabbos. Pasuk says, "V'ruach lavsha es amasai," and a spirit encompassed, surrounded Amasai, who was David's nephew. Rosh Hashalishim, the head of the officers there. L'cha David, to you, David, the Imcha Ben Yishai, and with you, Ben Yishai, Shalom, Shalom L'cha. Right? The pasuk, the Gemara doesn't quote the whole pasuk. It just says the Gomer here, and the side he says there. L'cha David Imcha Shalom, the Ben Yishai, Shalom, Shalom L'cha. V'Shalom Mozrechem, peace be unto those who help you. Ki azarcha Elokecha. Hashem supports you, or peace be to God, because he supports you. By Kabbalim David, by Yitnaim Barashek Good, and David accepted them. So the point is that Amasai, David's nephew, said to David, Shalom, Shalom, a double lashon. So that's how you know that when you greet a king, you give him a double lashon. Amrulay, so they said to this Geniva, first they asked him, why did you call us king? He gave him an answer. Why'd you greet us doubly? Gave him an answer. They said, please have a bite to eat. Another quote from Rav Rav. You shouldn't eat anything until you first feed your animals. We say every day, I will put grass in your field for your animals, and afterwards you shall eat and be satiated. So he taught them. So Geniva, who was argumentative, but he also knew Tanakh. He knew Tanakh as well as learning, as being a Talmud Chacham. That's the end of the fifth parak. Now we come back to Gitin, because we got off on an Azakim because of Darchei Shalom. Now we come back to Gitin. It says the beginning of the parak Mishnah. We know that there's two kinds of shlichim when it comes to giving a get. There's a shlich lo locha that the husband normally sends. He sends the shliach to give her the get. She's only divorced when she receives the get. Let's say she sends a shliach. And she says, look, accept the get from me. So if she sends the shliach, she's divorced as soon as her shliach accepted it, because he accepted it, he's her shliach. It's like she accepted it. So those are the basic two kinds of the shliach l'ach and shliach l'kol. Now we're going to get into the complicated issues. Let's say he says, Omer skabel gets alishti. He says, would you be makabel? You accept this get for my wife. Now, he can't. A get is considered a chov. Most women say don't want to be divorced, or they were divorced in those days against their will. So the husband has no right, and nobody has a right to accept it on her behalf. Oh, you ever get there? I'll accept it for her. What do you mean I'll accept it for her? She doesn't want it. She doesn't want you to accept it for her. So you can't forcibly accept it for her. So if the husband says, Homer, his skabel gets a lishti, or holach gets a lishti, whether he says, accept it from my wife or take it to my wife, imrat salach siach, so he can go back on it. He could change his mind. We talked before about, changing your mind in front of a bezdin, and the fourth parak shlech in front of a bezdin, or you shouldn't do that because he won't know that you changed your mind, and she thinks she's divorced and she'll go get remarried. We talked about all that. That was the takana from Galil that you shouldn't do those kind of things. But let's say he changed his mind and he reached the guy before. He didn't. It wasn't like he changed his mind and reneged on the get, right? And he voided the get and he didn't tell the shliach. We're not talking about that complicated case back in the fourth parak. That you shouldn't do. But let's say he just changed his mind and he caught the shliach and he said, don't give it to her. He can change his mind. Why? Because she's not divorced yet. Because if he said, even though he said hit kabel, acquire it for her, neither the person that he spoke to, the shliach, nor he himself has the ability to acquire it for his wife. She didn't assign the shliach because it's a chov. It's an obligation. She doesn't want that. It's a bad thing. Homer Skabel gets alishti, Olech gets alishti, Imras Lachsiach, he can change his mind because as long as she hasn't received the get yet. Once he gave her the get, that's it. He gave her the get in front of Adam. She's divorced at that split second. If he's a Kohen, too bad. You can't change your mind now. Ha'isha, let's say the other way around. Let's say a woman said to a shliach, he acquired this get for me, so she assigned him. He's a shliach Kabbalah. Now, once he gave that shliach Kabbalah the get, and now the husband wants to change his mind, too late. Because once the shliach Kabbalah has accepted the get on behalf of the woman, it's too late. Can't change your mind. She's divorced. Lefichach, let's say if because that's the case, and let's say the wife is anxious to get the get, and she said, whatever the circumstance, she said to shliach to get the get. And the husband says, okay, I'm going to give you the get, but I don't want it to be divorced yet. I know it's going to take you a few days to get back to her. I don't want her to be divorced now. I don't want it because the husband's the one who's giving the get. Again, Minat Torah, he's the one who decides, not her. She has no say in the matter. But he's giving the get, so he's empowered to say, this is how I want to give it. I want to give it only with this tanai. I want to give it this way. Lefichach, because of that, because if it's a shliach l'kabbalah and he doesn't say anything, he just gives her the get, she's divorced right away. He couldn't change his mind then. If he wants to have the ability to change his mind, the husband said to the shliach, first shliach l'kabbalah, I don't want you to accept it for her now. Now, shliach l'kabbalah was assigned by her to accept the get. But the husband says, I'm not giving it to you in those conditions. If you think I'm going to give it to you now and she's going to be divorced right away, no, I want it in her face. I don't want to divorce until she sees it. I don't want you to accept this get. I want you to give it to her. I don't want to be divorced till then. So in other words, he can only renege on the get, go back on the get, if the person is a shliach la'olacha. So effectively, this man, the husband over here, turned the shliach l'kabbalah into shliach la'olacha. If she sent the shliach l'kabbalah and to accept it, and he gave it to that shliach stam in front of Adam, she's divorced immediately. He can't change his mind. The husband can't change his mind. But if he said, no, I don't want her to be divorced now. I want you to take it to her. And he accepted that. So she turned him, so to speak. He turned the shliach, so to speak, from a shliach l'kabbalah into shliach la'olacha. So then he can go back on it because now this guy's a shliach l'kabbalah. So as long as she hasn't physically received the get yet, he can go back on it. She doesn't have to actually say hit kabel li giti. You say hit kabel li giti, accept it for me. Even if she says take my get from me, in other words, whether the wife says, again, the beginning of the mission said whether the husband said to shliach la'olacha, accept this get for my wife or take it to my wife, it's the same thing. He can't make a shliach. He can't make a shliach for her. So if he said accept it for my wife, it's the same thing as give it to my wife. Same thing. If she said accept it for me or take it from me, can't go back on it. Either way, a shliach stam shliach kabbalah, she's divorced immediately as soon as the shliach received it, and a shliach la'olacha that the husband sends, she's not divorced until she receives it. Says the Gemara. Now, back in Daf Yudalad, the Gemara had a discussion over there. When you say stam something, holech, take this to Jimmy. Okay, am I telling you to accept it for Jimmy right now? If he would want it. If he would want it, right? Let's say Jimmy would want it. And I say holech, is that accepted for him or is it give it to him? He only gets it when you receive it. That's the question. Is holech, is it like schi? Is it like acquired for him? Right? Be zochet for merited for him, that it's his now or not. Rashi. Look at the second one. The second one said, we said, Omer Skabel gets el ishto. Oh, holech gets el ishto. He could change his mind. Time of the lo shavisa ishto, because she didn't make this guy shliach. Who made the guy shliach? The husband. Right? Time of the reason why he could change his mind, the husband could change his mind, is because she didn't make this guy shliach l'kabbalah. Let's say she made this guy shlich l'kabbalah, and the husband said, yeah, take it to her. Because why can he go back on it? Because he assigned him to be the shliach. So it's shliach l'halacha. If the wife though said, you be my shliach l'kabbalah, and the guy this shliach came to the husband, and the husband said, take it, it's mashma that it would be a get. He wouldn't be able to change his mind. So you see over here that you see from over here that Poshet the Shal that we had before back in Yudal that was not decided there. You see holachas k'schidami. Because the reason why we say over here that he could change his mind, that taking it is not like giving it, because she didn't assign him a shliach. The husband made him a shliach. But if she would make him a shliach, and he came to get for the get, and the husband said, take it, it's mashma, she would be divorced right away. He wouldn't be able to change his mind. So you see holachas k'schidami. I could tell you holach is laf k'schidami. In a stam case, holach is not schidami. The eskabel gets at least the Mishnah is not trying to make a deduction and say if the husband says holach, then he could change his mind. But if the wife told him, if the wife assigned the shliach to accept it for her, and then the husband said holach, he couldn't change his mind. No, the chiddush of the Mishnah is that even when he said eskabel, he said accept it. Who is he to say accept this get for my wife? You can't be a shliach for my wife if my wife didn't assign you. The chiddush is when he said accept this get for my wife. I might think the husband can't make somebody a shliach for the wife because it's a chol for her. You can make a shliach if, let's say, I know a guy's poor and I say, look, here's $100. You accept it for him. As soon as you accept it, as soon as you get it, it's his money because he wants to. I know he wants the money, but over here you don't know that the wife wants the divorce. So therefore, you can't say accept them. So you might think what you said is meaningless. Meaning, the husband's not capable of making the guy shlich Kabbalah. Even though she received the get, I might think it's not a get, even if she received it. In other words, if a husband tells the shliach, accept this get for my wife, is he empowered to do that? No. But he gave her the get to the shliach, and the shliach went and he gave it to the wife. I might think she's not divorced then either. Remember, what do we say if a guy writes a kosher get and it dropped on the floor and she picked it up, is she divorced? No, he has to give it to her, or a shliach has to give it to her, or he has to give it to her shliach, or a shliach has to give it to her shliach. It has to be handed over. So you might think over here the guy's not a shliach. He said, accept this get from my wife, make a shliach Kabbalah. I can't make it. The husband can't make a shliach Kabbalah. So you might think even if she got the get, even if he took it there, he never made him a shliach Kabbalah. He made him a shliach Kabbalah, and he's not empowered to do that. So it's like it fell on the floor. And you might think, she's love gets not get kamash malom. The iskabel v'holach kamer. When he says iskabel, it doesn't mean you accept it for her like I can make you a shliach for her. No, it just means take it and give it to her. That's what it means. Iskabel v'holach kamer. That's all the mission means. That you can't make a diknet. It's not another proof that we're going to try to bring a proof that holach is k'schidami. Ha'isha she'amar iskabel. Look at the mission. Mission said later on in this mission that we just learned. If a woman says, accept this get for me, he can't go back on the deal, right? Because once he gave her shliach or Kabbalah the get, she's divorced immediately. He can't change his mind now. My love, lo shna Kabbalah, lo shna halacha. So doesn't that mean to say whether he said hiskabel geta, hiskabel gets elishti, or holach gets elishti? Even though he said holach zet elishti, holach is k'schidami, because you see she can acquire it that way. It says lo a Kabbalah. Maybe it's only going on a Kabbalah. Maybe Omer Skabel gets elishti when the wife assigned a shliach with Kabbalah, and he came to the husband, and the husband said his Kabbalah, yes, you accept it for her. Maybe that's when it works. But if he would say holach la, maybe it wouldn't work. Maybe it wouldn't work, and as maybe holach is not k'schidami. So he can't prove it. It indicates that way. That sounds like holach is k'schidami, but it's not a definite proof. Tashma, another proof from the Mishnah. Lefichach, the Mishnah says, Im amalo abal. Let's say because Mishnah went on to say that if she assigns a get, she assigns a shliach, and the shliach Kabbalah comes to the husband, and the husband wants to have more time. He wants to send the get, but he wants more. He doesn't want it to be final right now. She's a shliach. The guy's a shliach Kabbalah. He can accept the get right now, but he says, I want 5 days to think about it. So I'll tell you what, I don't want you to be a shliach Kabbalah. Take her the get. You'll be my shliach balach and take her. So you can change his mind as close mind as long as she hasn't received it yet. That's what the Mishnah said. Tashma leficha imam Baal said to the shliach Kabbalah, she's the Kabbalah. I don't want you to Kabbalah get for her. Ella holech v'teima. You go and take it to her. She'll be only divorced then. And Russell Achsher could change his mind because she's not divorced yet. Time of the Amari Efshi. The reason is because he said, I don't want it to be a get. I don't want you to be a shliach Kabbalah right now. In other words, I don't want it to be right now a get. I don't want you to accept it for right now. I want you to be a shliach holacha. That's why he was hello Amali Efshi. But if he didn't say, I don't want it to be a get right now, and Russell Achsher, he couldn't change his mind. So again, Shmamina holach k'schidami, because he says the shliach Kabbalah came to the husband, said, I'm ready to take the get. Accept it. He says, no, I don't want you to accept it for her. I want you to be my shliach holacha. Oh, why does it work that then he could change his mind as long as she hasn't received it yet? Why? Because he said efshi. But if he wouldn't say efshi, it's mashma. He couldn't go back on it. So you see again that holach is k'schidami. So it seems like a stronger proof. The Gemara says dilma behalach. Maybe the Mishnah you're reading it wrong. In other words, not that he changed. He says maybe there's different gears, like Tosa says. Maybe it means maybe some people learned that it doesn't say holach but rather halach. Halach sounds more like take it. If he said take it, then he definitely gets it, unless he said efshi. But if he would just say holach, maybe holach is not k'schidami. So there's a strong indication from our Mishnah that holach is k'schidami, but it's not definitive, and that's why the Gemara back in Yudalid could not posh it the shaila. So we're not able to posh it the shaila from is holach is taking it like be mazaka it for her. Again, you can't be mazaka it for her if it's a get. You can't just say to somebody, I have a gift for my wife here, you take it. And when you take it, she's divorced right away because this is a chol for her, unless she's assigned to shliach herself. But in a case where, let's say, it would be a schus for him, is holech k'schidami or not, we're not able to prove it from here. There's a strong indication from the Mishnah that holech is k'schidami, right? Because holech get leishti, imratzal yachzer. Why? Because she didn't make the sign. But if she would have assigned the shliach, mashma then, and he said to the shliach holech, take it to her, mashma holech would be k'schidami. So that's this. It's a strong indication, but it's not a definitive proof. Says the Gemara, we're now 6 lines down in the Y lines. Pshita, isha v'shliach lo'olacha. Now, we talked about a shliach lo'olacha where the husband sends a shliach. She's not divorced until she receives it or her shliach receives it. If the wife makes a shliach l'Kabbalah, then she's divorced as soon as the shliach receives it. Can the husband make a woman a shliach lo'olacha? And can the wife make a man a shliach l'Kabbalah? Or does it have to be a man and send a man? The woman can send a woman. So Pshita isha v'shliach lo'olacha. It's obvious that a man can be shliach lo'olacha. Shekain ba'al molchet l'ishto. The husband himself can give the wife, give a get to his wife. That's what it talks about. The shulcha gives her a get because of the save reasons. The shulcha, he sends her away. So certainly the husband, since the husband can give a get to his wife, it's likely that he could also assign another man to do it. Rashi says in the second line of Rashi, Pshita ish zocher yachal es shliach. You can assign a shliach just like he is the man, and you can assign another man to do it. The pasuk is you can make a shliach, so presumably it means a man. And a woman could be a shliach kabbalah. As we learned before, obviously the wife has to accept the get. So if she can make a shliach. And how do we know that she can make a shliach? Because the darshan the pasuk b'shilcha, as Rashi says b'sholcha, she will also send a shliach. So obviously, if she can accept the get, and she's a woman, she can make another woman accept the get for her. What about the other way around? What about ish l'kabbalah? Can a man be a shliach l'kabbalah for the woman? Can a man be a shliach l'kabbalah for a woman? Can a woman be a shliach l'alacha? That's the question. Let's bring a proof from our Mishnah. If a man says, you be makabel a get for my wife, oh holach get zeli ishti, or take it for my wife, okay, you can go back on it. If a woman says to a shliach, you be makabel, you accept the get from me, my love, are we talking about the same guy? Isn't that Mishnah about the same guy? If the husband says, take the get to my wife, she's not divorced until the wife receives it, so he could change his mind. If the wife says to him or to her, be makabel to get from me, she's divorced as soon as he receives it, and as soon as the shliach receives it, and she can't change his mind. Are we not talking about the same person? My love shliach, v'shma mina, kosher l'kabbalah, kosher lacha, and we'll say therefore that whoever's kosher to or kosher l'alacha, kosher l'kabbalah, if he's good enough for halacha, it's good enough for kabbalah. One person's the same. It's not indicating yet who the shliach is, if it's a man or a woman. You could be medayik. It's the vichim omar lo, that it's a man. A Mishnah says omar lo at the end of the fourth line in the Mishnah. So it sounds like it's a man. But the point is that he's kosher for one, he's kosher for the other. We're talking about the same person, right? Lo, they're talking about two different people. Maybe the husband's assigning a male, and the wife is assigning a female. So it's no indication from there that any person who could be a shliach halacha could also be a shliach halacha, whatever their gender. Tashma, let's bring another proof. Rafichach, the mission went on to say, if the husband told the shliach, I don't want you to accept this get for her, but rather you take it and give it to her as my shaliach, and therefore she's not divorced until she receives it. And he wants to go back and go back on the postman, she hasn't received the get. So you see, the one who was kosher l'kabbalah is kosher l'alacha, right? So what do you see over here? You see definitely it's the same person, because we said if the wife sent the shliach and said, accept the get for me, he was a shliach l'kabbalah. He came to the husband. This person came to the husband. We'll call him it. The shliach came to the husband. We don't know if it's a man or a woman. Came to the husband, and the husband said, I want you to be a shliach l'kabbalah. I don't want her to be divorced right now. I'm giving her under my conditions. I want her to be a divorce only when she physically receives the get. When you give it to her, I want you to be my shliach l'halacha. Okay, so the mission went on to say, so she's not divorced until she actually receives it. He can change his mind till then. But we're talking about the same guy. We're talking about the same guy because it said she sent a shliach l'kabbalah to him, to the husband. The husband said, I don't want you to be shliach l'kabbalah. I don't want to be divorced this minute. I want it in her face. I want you to take it to her. And she's only divorced at that time. I want 5 days to think about it. Okay, so what do you see? That the same person could be a shliach l'kabbalah, shliach l'alacha. Well, as we know, there are only two genders that God made us. You can't be whatever you want to be. There's only two, a man or a woman. Now, this person who was a shliach l'kabbalah, the husband turned him or her, turned him around and said, no, you'll be a shliach l'alacha. So you see, whoever could be a shliach l'kabbalah could be a shliach l'alacha because he turned the same person around. So the Gemara says, Shokmina, so okay, but we don't know, was it a man or a woman? We know now that the same person could be a shliach l'kabbalah, could be a shliach l'alacha from our Mishnah. But which one is it? Shokmina, we'll see from here, Isha b'shliach l'kabbalah. We'll decide. The question was, can a man be a shliach l'kabbalah? Can a woman be a shliach l'alacha? Well, we know now the same person can be both, but which one is the person? Maybe it's a man could be both, not a woman. So we'll at least decide that a man could be a shliach l'kabbalah, just like he'd be a shliach l'alacha. Why? Because we have an indication she can't av makabel get l'bita tana. A man can marry off his daughter, right? We learn out of psukim, right? At in kesel v'nazel yesh kesel v'nacher, that a father v'yatzachinu en kasav. Learn from that pasuk that a father can marry off his young daughter, his daughter under the age of 12. He is wishes to marry her off. And from the Yatzav Ha'isa, we learn not just like he can marry her off, he can also accept her get. So since we see that a man can accept the get for his daughter, not a woman, a man can accept his daughter. So we have an indication that if there's one sex, one or the other, male or female, could be a shliach l'alacha and a shliach l'kabbalah, it's probably the man, because we find that a man could be a shliach for his daughter. So probably if we have to, our mission indicates that a person of one gender can be both a shliach l'kabbalah, shliach. We don't know if that's a man or a woman. Probably it's the man who could be both, because the father can accept the get for his daughter. But you still have a question: could a woman be a shliach l'halacha? That a shliach, it's obvious that a man can be a shliach l'halacha, and a woman can be a shliach l'halacha, and l'kabbalah rather. A man can be a shliach l'halacha, and a woman can be a shliach l'kabbalah because she's the one who accepts the get. So she can make a woman also as a shliach for her. But the other way around, that's our question. So we said, well, from our Mishnah, we see that one person could be both ways, because this person was originally a Kabbalah, then the husband turned him into a shliach l'halacha. Fine. Which one is? It's probably the man, because a man can be a shliach for his daughter. But can a woman be a shliach l'halacha? Can a husband assign a woman to take a get, give it to his wife? Amar Rav Mari, Tashma, I'll prove it from here. There are 5 women who the Gemara Yevamah says are not believed to say that her husband died because we're afraid they're jealous of her and they're willing to ruin her. They're willing to say your husband died, even though for husband's death we accept even 1/8. We accept anybody's testimony. but there are 5 women they don't trust: the mother-in-law, the sister-in-law, the Yavama, right, her co-wife, things like that. The people like that you don't accept. Right, and we don't accept that. He brings down the case: the mother-in-law, the mother-in-law's daughter, her co-wife, her potential co-wife, the Yavimta, Ubas Bala, her husband's daughter, who's afraid that the wife's going to get all the money. All those things. Those women aren't believed to say your husband died. The Monoslavi is Gita. They are believed to bring the get. And the Gemara over there says, what's the difference? Why are they not believed to say the husband died, but they are believed to bring the get? Because get is a document. They got the document, but you don't believe that they forged it. If they just say your husband died, they're giving testimony. We don't believe them because they would like to ruin her. They'd like her to get married to somebody else and then ruin both marriages. But they are believed to bring the get. There it's Allah, because this is lahaviyas kita. So you see, women are believed. He says even the women who are not believed to say your husband died, they are believed to bring the get. So you see, women are believed to be a shliach halacha. Amar Rashi Miseifa over there, the safe of that Mishnah also. You see the proof. Namishma, Tani says over there, Haisha Atzma Mavias get the woman herself could bring the get. As long as she says she can bring her own get. Because more over there says, what do you mean she says as soon as she receives the get from her husband, she's divorced. Why does she have to bring her get from New York to Israel and say she's divorced as soon as she received it? The answer is, speaking about a case where the husband says, I'm giving you the get, but I want you to take it to Yerushalayim, give it to the court. Remember, I assigned the court to give it to you. So since you're the sheikh, you have to say sheikh halacha. So we're talking about halacha. So a woman certainly can be a sheikh halacha. So the Gemara didn't decide the question about holach schidami, but it did decide the shaila and say that both a man and a woman, both of them could either be a shliach halacha or a shliach l'kabbalah. Now we have come to an interesting question. The wife says to the shliach, "Bring me the get." Okay, she didn't say, "I want you to be a shliach l'kabbalah." She didn't say, "Accept this get from me, so that as soon as you get the get, as soon as you receive the get from the husband, I'm divorced. Bring me the get. Bring me the get." The wife said to a guy, "Can you please bring my get to me? I'll be divorced when I receive it." Now, now when the shliach came to the husband, he said to the husband, "Your wife said that I should accept the get for her," meaning that as soon as you give it to me, she's divorced. He changed the words, right? The wife said, "Bring me the get." The shliach said to the husband, "She told me to accept it for her." The husband said, "Hey, do whatever she said. Do whatever she said." Even if she received the get, she's not divorced, right? Even if she took it back to receive the get, she's not divorced. Why? Here's always the question. When a shliach comes and says, "Somebody told me to do this," and then the other person responds, "Okay, do it as he said," does he mean this as the shliach said or as the sender said? So over here, the husband said, "Okay, take it like she said." Well, she said, "Bring me the get," right? Bring me the get. And the shliach said, "No, she told me to accept the get for her. Even if the get came to her hands, she's not divorced." Why? Because the husband said, like she said, because the husband's intention was that it should be divorced right away. The husband assumed that what the shliach said is true. What did the shliach say? That she told me to accept the get for her. So the husband thought when he's giving it to her, she's divorced. They're giving it to the shliach, she's divorced right away, right? She's divorced right away, and therefore the husband had no intention of giving it to the guy that send it back there and be divorced when she received it. That he should be like a shliach lahalacha now on her part. She is not a shliach. No, he didn't do that. So, because Rav says, even if she received the get, she's not divorced. Why? Because the husband meant for the shliach to accept it right away. He said, the shliach said, "I'm a shliach l'kabbalah. You can be accepted right away." And he says, even not divorced. You rely on him. Because if he relies on her words, what were her words? Bring me the get. And the husband said, okay, take the get to her, as she said. If you rely on her, as soon as she received it, though, she should be divorced right away then. Why shouldn't she be divorced? Think about it. She said, bring me the get, right? Bring it to me. I'll be divorced when I get it. The shliach said, no, she said I should accept it for her. Okay. The husband said, do whatever she said. All right. Now, if you did whatever she said, what did she say? Bring me the get. Okay. So take her the get. So when she receives it, she should be divorced. Why shouldn't she be? Why do you say even if she received it, she's not divorced? Must be why? Because the husband said, oh, you're the shliach the Kabbalah. Okay, I'm giving it to you right now. She's divorced right now. Let's have the party now. She's divorced right now. I'm getting married 5 minutes later to somebody else, and I don't want to be married to two people at the same time. Whatever it was, right? Whatever it was. So you see, since she's not divorced at all, because the husband meant to give it to her that he would be the shliach Kabbalah, that the shliach was Kabbalah. But the shliach Kabbalah was never assigned to be a shliach Kabbalah. He was assigned to be a shliach Halacha by the wife. The wife said, bring me the get. I'm assigning you to be a shliach. I don't want you to accept it from me there. I want you to bring it to me. Okay, that's all the wife said. The shliach said, no, I'm a shliach LaKabbalah. I'm a shliach LaKabbalah. And the husband gave it to her based on those words. But he's not a shliach LaKabbalah. So even if she got it, she's not for why, because he relied on that. Why isn't she divorced when she got it? Okay, let's see. Amar Vashi. So you see that he relies on those words, and those because the husband only wanted to give it to him. You could say the husband only meant to give it to him to accept it right there, not to take it over there. Amar Vashi. So you see over here that a person, when a shliach says something, you say, I rely on that. You rely on what the shliach said, not on what the sender originally said. Amar Vashi. How can you compare? If the rule was the other way around. Let's say she said his skabali get. Let's say she would have said be makabel get for me, and the shliach said to the husband havali get. The husband and the shliach said to the husband, she told me to bring it to her. Lu amra heilach kamash amra, and the husband said, okay, do whatever she said. Rav Nachman, and if Rav Nachman Rav would have said, even she get liyado as soon as he received it. As soon as the shliach received it, she's divorced. Then that would be a good indication, right? Even though the shliach said I'm a shliach l'halacha, but if she said I want you to be a shliach l'kabbalah, and Rav Nachman would have said she's divorced right away, that would be indication that he relies on her words. Inami, or if he would have said when she receives it, then she's divorced. It shows that you relied on the shliach's words, because the shliach said, I'm only a shliach lahalacha. So if it would have been a good divorce, based on whether when the shliach got it or when she got it, if Rav Nachman would have said that, and she assigned it to be a shliach Kabbalah, he said, I'm a shliach lahalacha. So if he would have said she's divorced when immediately, then it's a proof that that the husband relies on the wife's words. And if she's divorced only when the wife receives it, it's a proof that the husband relies on the shliach's words. Elohacha, but over here maybe she's not divorced. She says, I don't want to be a shliach anymore. In other words, in this case where it's not a get at all, you know why? Because she said to the guy, bring me my get, right? The guy gets to the husband, it's a long trip, and he says, okay, she told me that I could accept the get for her. He doesn't want to schlep back there. He gave up that shlichus. He doesn't want to schlep back there. So he said, I'll be a shliach only if she's divorced right now. But she never assigned him to be that. That's why he's not divorced at all. Because maybe the shliach.
But she eventually gets it.
Yes, but she eventually got it, but he gave up his shlichus. He says, I'm not a shliach anymore. Maybe she got it, however she got it. He gave up his shlichus.
What's dangerous about it is that you end up having.
That's right. It's like she picked it up off the floor. In other words,
that's her name on it. That's his name.
Yeah, exactly. It's dangerous. Right. Right. It could be dangerous, but it's not a get. So there, Rav Nachman says, even if she got the get, she's not divorced. Why? Because maybe he relied on the shliach's words, and the shliach said, "I'm a shliach Kabbalah," and he wasn't a shliach Kabbalah. So the husband only meant to give it to him if she's divorced right away, not later on. Maybe that's why it's not a get, or not because of that. Maybe really she would rely on his words, but in this case, maybe the shliach gave up because I'm not a shliach anymore. Yeah. I renege. I renounce my shlichus, right?
Yeah, but she got it. So
yeah, she got it. She got it at the end, but not as her shliach. Not as her shliach. I renounced it.
To me, like for
yeah.
They would say that.
No, Tikkun Ol, but here she's not divorced because he gave up and he renounced it. He renounced his shlichus. He renounced his. I'm not a shliach anymore. Then let's say he took it anyway. It's a complicated case, right? But anyway, it's not an indication. You don't have a solid proof that the husband relies on the words of the shliach, right? It's not.
Wouldn't it also be a problem when he?
Huh?
Wouldn't it
Pardon?
also be a problem when he renounced the shlichus? Because if you renounce the shlichus post after he gave it to her, then it's a done deal. Too bad.
No. He renounced the shlichus now. In other
Oh.
words, when he came to the husband, what happened over here? She made him a shliach l'halacha, bring it to me, right? And when he got to the husband, he said, "I'm not going to schlep back there. I'll be a
So he's
shliach
done.
l'kabbalah. I renounced
Okay.
the shliach l'halacha." That's what
Okay,
happened
so
over here.
he
He
never-
renounced
he
it. Once
never
he
got it.
renounced it, he's not a shliach
Yeah,
anymore.
okay.
He
That
can't.
makes sense.
Yeah, he's not a shliach anymore, and therefore she's not divorced on. Maybe that's the reason. We don't know. At this point, the Gemara is just saying it's no proof that the husband relies on the words of the shliach, because maybe over here the shliach simply renounced his shliach. So we can't prove. Maybe tomorrow we'll try to prove more. Have a good day.
Good.